So, tonight I'm going to talk about being a targeted individual and the government conspiracy that is not a government conspiracy. When I'm telling you stuff, I'm telling you my story as it would relate to this. Where I left off, I told you about a cop claiming that I ruined his case. That there was an accident that the church claimed they wanted to conduct an ecclesiastical investigation. And I explained to you that I was injured in an accident and I wobbled due to neurological damage. I was able to keep my lane, but I wobbled and I left truck driving for that reason. So after I would recover from my injuries through physical therapy and a bunch of other things, just healing, I would attempt to go back to work. In 2000, this person would appear at a convenience store I worked at, claim I ruined his case, and he was going to make sure that I never drove a truck again. Now I find out later that this is some guy named Chewy. I had absolutely no involvement with him or this cop at all. So, this would start in 1995 after I got an MRI at Silver Cross Hospital. Now, I don't know how to organize this exactly so that it makes sense. I've done the best I could with it. This guy who was chasing me around, or this organization or these people, got a hold of my head scan. From the hospital. And I've been targeted for harassment ever since by the church and other organizations. So this Chewy guy, I'd never had any encounters or dealings with it. Supposedly, my brother was involved in this. Now, we live at the same address, but he worked at a Ford dealer at the time, and I worked at a convenience store and worked part-time at worked full-time at Vitamin World, a store that sells supplements in Gurnee Mills, in a giant mall. I'd be an assistant manager there at this time. So, Chewy supposedly got killed in 97, 98. My understanding was that a person, my brother got into a fight with this person, and Chewy drawing a gun. And the person who's a bystander shot Chewy and killed him. So this guy would walk into my store and call me Big Mouth, said I ruined his case, say he would make sure I never drove a truck again, that I wouldn't walk away from this. Now, I have no criminal record, no criminal background, and a clean driving record. So the only way this person could follow through with this is to, one, involve me in a lot of accidents where I would lose my license, or two, injure me in a way that I couldn't work. Now, this man would threaten me like this on 2 separate occasions. Yet I'd be accused of being paranoid now that I'm being followed around and harassed by these people. So it would go further than that. We would have a petition filed on me declaring me a nuisance and wanting the government to take away my driver's license. The government said that you cannot, or the judge said in the petition there was supposedly 260 names on it, that you cannot petition away a person's rights, and your religion ends at the end of your nose. So when these people assault or attack me, they usually touch the end of their nose. Now, once again, most of them are from the churches of the United States. The Methodists, the AME, the Pentecostals, the Lutherans, and the Australian Anglicans, along with Presbyterians. A lot of this is related to what they call diuresis. Now, they would tell you that this is perfectly legal and that Uh, the victims will tell you, TIs will tell you that they are victims of some government conspiracy. When the truth is that these people conspire against the government in every way. So first of all, I would have a disability. And it's the violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act to deny a person a right or privilege because of their disability to err on the side of safe. Now, the nationalists and the other people that belong to these churches and organizations are opposed to that. So they harass people with disabilities. And their beliefs are anti-left-handed people and anti-left brain people. So you need to understand that in the United States, the government is made up of left brain thinkers. Our military is made up of left brain thinkers. They have a profile and they target male left brain thinkers. Primarily being over-the-road truck drivers in the upper pay scale, and plumbers, electricians, and other skilled craftspeople that are normally non-union, either independent or they work for non-union companies, especially people of color. They target frequently the middle class and heavily middle class minorities. So they would conspire to violate the United States Criminal Code. I can name the laws. You would have to look them up to get the numbers. I could probably cite the numbers to you in another video. Under the U.S. Criminal Code, in the conspiracy against rights under the color of law. That's what happens when a cop who goes rogue or decides that he is the law and he would conspire with others to deprive you of your rights. They would have a conspiracy against rights under the color of right, which the church would pretend like they are conducting an ecclesiastical investigation when they're just stalking and harassing you. You would have a violation of the Civil Rights Act, the Equal Opportunity Act, and what they call white capping. White capping is normally done to minorities. It's threatening and harassing them off of a job that they don't want this person to work. This is the violation of equal opportunity employment. They would decided that they gave preference to females for truck drivers as an arbitrary reason, yet they only harassed minority truck drivers as males. We would have an understanding that they harassed and threatened the females too. That's a violation of the Civil Rights Act and the Equal Opportunity Employment Act. They would harass people that are not from their religion. That's a violation of their First Amendment rights, which guarantees them freedom of religion. They would meddle in things, as far as your driving style, that aren't prescribed by law. That's a violation of the 10th Amendment of the United States Constitution. They would steal and make public your medical information and haul it around. That's violation of the Hospital Information Privacy Act and the Privacy Act. They would harass you over things in your lifestyle. That's an invasion of privacy. It's an egregious invasion of privacy. They illegally obtain information in regards to your driving and work history. That's a violation of Section 123 under the United States Criminal Code. Unlawful use of driver's licensing information in regards to the fact that they're trying to hold extrajudicial court into whether or not you would have a privilege granted by the state or federal government. They would attempt to decide what size and class of vehicle you drive, which is a conspiracy to restrain trade. You are a commercial driver or you're aspiring to be a commercial driver. They harass people on the highway. That's interference with interstate commerce. They harass harass people with what they buy, their products, their clothing, etc., so on and so forth. That is a conspiracy to restrain trade. Most of their harassment is economic and related to people with disabilities or people from certain races. A lot of it constitutes hate crimes under the Hate Crimes Act, under the Matthew Shepard James Byrd Act. The genetic discrimination and harassment, making public a person's illness or discriminating against the left-handed. The gene sequence makes a person left-handed. It's a violation of the Genetic Information Privacy Act. They will try to weed out these people because of stereotypically certain illnesses they will be prone to based on their left-handedness or their blood type. Now, these people are not part of the government. They are part of not-for-profit organizations. The labor union is a major player, usually relates to revenge or driving minorities out of high-paying jobs. So that's it for today. Your government conspiracy that is non-government. Now, understand that the people that they're harassing, the government seeks them as desirable. They're skilled labor people in the middle class. It's where the government gets most of their tax money from. The people that are doing the harassing are usually the people that are rich and they dodge taxes, and extremely poor, they can't afford them, and the church who does not pay them. So that's it for tonight.